As the budget season approaches, millions of Indian taxpayers are eagerly anticipating how the government plans to address their concerns and aspirations. This year, as always, the stakes are high. The new government has sworn in the last month, and millions of Indian taxpayers are hoping for reduction in tax rates, further parity between old and new tax system, and simplification of procedures. Let's take a closer look at what taxpayers are hoping for and how these expectations could shape the budget. As the focus of the budget, government has been to see how they can simplify the laws, the tax structure. The government has made the simplified tax regime or the new tax regime more attractive as there were not many takers. Hence, the tax slabs provided under the simplified tax regime were reduced to five slabs with certain other changes, and a standard deduction of 50,000 was introduced to make it more attractive. New tax regime is now the default regime, which means that the regime which the employer would need to follow unless the employee wants to go with the old regime. Standard deduction can be enhanced to 1 lakh in the upcoming budget, and additionally, a deduction for loan taken for purchase of house property can be introduced with the limit of rupees 3 lakhs. Also, the tax rate of 30% to be applied above 20 lakhs as compared to 15 lakhs currently, which will help in leaving more disposable income in the hands of the taxpayer, and basic exemption limit of rupees 3 lakhs enhanced to 5 lakhs. These changes will make the new tax regime more popular amongst the individuals and see more adoption. It is not anticipated that any significant changes will be made in the old tax regime. In my mind, simplification of current capital gain tax regime is a long pending demand. There are different rates of tax for different categories of assets. There is no consistency in the term of period of holding to classify an asset as short term or long term. Additionally, there are different rules and tax rates for resident and non resident individuals, even though the investment instrument belongs from the similar class. Some steps to remove the complexity would help the taxpayers pay and file their taxes correctly, and rationalizing the benefit of tax rates and method between resident and non-resident taxpayers for the same source of income would also be a welcome step in this direction. When we look at an employee's compensation structure, house rent allowance, or HRA as we may call, is an important component of an employee structure. If the employee receiving HRA is paying rent for their accommodation, they can claim a tax exemption on the same. Currently, a rented house in Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta, and Chennai qualifies for a higher deduction of 50% exemption, while those located in other places come under the 40% bracket. This categorization of metro versus non metro cities was done more than 3 decades ago. Over time, over time, cities have grown in population, creating a need to reassess how we classify metro and non metro cities. In my mind, cities like Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune could be considered as metro cities, and even the Indian constitution recognizes Bangalore as a metro city, and a higher exemption of 50% extended to similar cities. As the focus is on ease of doing business in India and simplifying compliances, implementation of labor codes is one such step in this direction. There is an expectation that the finance minister in her speech will set the tone of the same, even though labor codes fall within the realm of Ministry of Labor and Employment. As we conclude our discussion, it is clear that the hopes and needs of people are both diverse and crucial. From easing the tax burden on individuals to fostering growth and innovation in businesses, the budget is not just a fiscal exercise, it is vision for the future. It represents an opportunity for the government to align its policies with the dreams and demands of its citizens, paving the way for prosperity and stability. We remain engaged and optimistic that the Honorable Finance Minister will continue on the journey of reform, simplification, and relief for taxpayers.